So I heard you say that you may not be the most popular because you are saying how important President Trump has been to NATO, getting NATO to move forward, not only on defense spending, but other issues.
Yes, as I said this morning in a panel, Brett, last year, under his leadership, NATO collectively reached that famous 2%, which we agreed 10 years ago. I asked the room, I said, big countries like Spain and Italy and Belgium and Canada reaching that 2%, would it have ever happened if President Trump would not have been re-elected? No. And then in June in The Hague, we agreed on this 5% defense spending, including the 3.5% on core defense, equalizing with the US. Would that ever have happened if President Trump would not have been re-elected as President 47 of the United States? Absolutely not. And now today, this agreement on working collectively on this deal getting done on the Arctic region, I think we can really commend him for taking that leadership role. He is the leader of the free world. He is the leader of the most powerful nation on earth, the biggest ally in NATO. He is doing exactly what I hope he would do when he was re-elected, knowing him from his first term in office.
What do you say to the critics who look at what has happened in the result of some of the things the president has said, and look at countries like Canada that the prime minister went to Beijing and is making deals with China, France that is welcoming Chinese investment inside Europe, the UK just signed off on a giant Chinese embassy in London. Do you think that there's a change in the way leaders are dealing with China in particular?
Well, of course, it's not up to me to comment on what individual allies are doing in terms of their relationship with China. I think collectively as NATO, we have a position. The position is that we should not be naive. I can tell you, Brett, these huge investments the Chinese are making in the military are not there to organize parades in Beijing, as the military in Russia are not there to organize parades in Moscow. They are there to be used. Russia is using them against the Ukrainians. And China, we know their ambitions in the Indo-Pacific. And again, here it is the United States who is playing a huge role here to make sure that the Indo-Pacific stays safe. And as NATO and the Indo-Pacific, under President Trump's leadership, we work more and more together.
And finally, when you leave today in Davos, you feel optimistic about the situation with Greenland, that you have this framework, that you're going to a next step, even though the Kingdom of Denmark is pretty adamant that they're not relinquishing Greenland?
I think what we achieved today in the talks I had with the president is that we agreed that he is right. And he is right that collectively we have to protect the Arctic regions, but also, of course, the US continuing its conversations with Greenland and Denmark when it comes how can we make sure that the Russians and China will not gain access to the economy or military sense of Greenland. I think that was a very good outcome. There's still a lot of work to be done. We'll do it step by step, but of course working fast, but also with thoughtful diplomacy, we will get this done.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, thanks for the time.
Thank you so much. See you soon.